Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today I have another Michigan game review, pretty much a Cam York / Michigan game review. I pretty much cover the game and, talk about Cam York, which is the main topic of conversation for this video. But the sixth game of the season for Michigan was not a... How do I phrase this? It was just a really... It just seemed like a game that really left a bad taste in your mouth if you were a Michigan fan. And as for me, I kind of feel like it sucked because it was a very tight game. It ended up being a 2-1 game. The game-winning goal was an empty net goal, and I will explain that later. But there were a lot of chances for both teams, I think, for majority of this game. I think it was back and forth. There was some sloppy play. But let's kind of break it down here. So starting off, just a couple notes to start off before Michigan. They still had pretty much the same lines for the defense. First unit was York still with Keaton Pearson. Michigan coming into this game was 4-1-0. They're now 4-2-0. They did lose the last game last night 3-2 to Notre Dame. And that was a game where they found themselves down 3-0, ended up coming back, getting 2 goals. Then it ended up becoming a 3-2 game there. And now Notre Dame on the season is 2-2, as they got a win tonight. They were 1-2 coming into this one. So starting off, York, he starts the opening shift. He has an opening pass, an opening chance pass to Pearson, generated pretty much Michigan's first shot on net. It was a pretty fast-paced game, pretty early, I will say. York and just Michigan, it seemed like it was just a really back and forth play. There wasn't really much going on. I feel like the first period was more Michigan's period, but the second and third was pretty much really all Notre Dame. It was, York, he had a very smart pinch, which led to an icing. They ended up losing the O-zone draw. He was so confident in moving the puck. He had his first shot on net here, missed wide. He pretty much had just an open lane to get a shot off, couldn't really get much, and ended up going wide. He had 3 attempted shots for my eyes, but the box score only credited him with 1 because the first 2 did miss the net. The one was in the first, the other one was in the second. There was a lot of icing, sloppy play from both teams, which I did mention, and there was also a really very bouncy puck. For some reason, it felt like every time somebody passed the puck, it was just bouncing right off their stick, and there was some very active boards. I felt like there was just a lot of plays where they would dump it, puck would just come flying back out. I don't know if it's because there's no fans in the arena. I know I'm not 100% sure where the Zambonis come in the rink, because that is something that you have to keep. I know the Gilles Arena, they've had the Zamboni, and the active boards there is incredible. You've seen so many goals the Red Wings have literally scored from shooting it, and it just deflects right back out, comes all the way out back in the slot, and they score. But another smart pinch here from York, which leads to some O-zone pressure. Then Michigan ends up getting a power play with 2:37 left. Couldn't really get much going. They were literally passing 2 guys that had no speed. So the guy who would take it in had a lot of speed. They would pass it. The guy didn't look like he was ready for the pass, and it would just, get sent right back down because they couldn't really get much going. So the shots at the end of the first period there were 7-4 in favor of Michigan. York ends up starting the second period. His second shot here misses the net, and then he started a breakout for a chance early in that period. Michigan gets another power play here at 15:40. They had a pretty bad power play just with the way that the setup was and everything. They ended up being a 4-on-4 because it looked like that it was just the way that they kept losing the puck, and it was just a battle along the wall. I believe it was actually called for a hook, and then Michigan actually ended up giving up a 3-on-1, and it was really nice save from Strassman there. But York, he ended up breaking up a 2-on-1 at the blue line, which led to a Michigan breakaway. No goal was scored. Notre Dame gets a power play here at 7:35. York had 3 clears on this penalty. Very good defensive play to break up the pass, cleared it. The second one, it was kind of like he sent it up along the glass, deflected off, they gloved it down, and then Beniers ended up hitting him and it ended up going off. And then the third clear, he pretty much cleared it when the puck was sent in. Notre Dame changed. York sent it all the way down. He played the full penalty, full 2 minutes. He had a nice stick check here that defended his own entry. Pearson actually scored late in this period, Keaton Pearson. So York would have had a plus on this play. He didn't have anything to do with the pass or just the way the faceoff was, but it was actually sent down. It was either an icing or an offside. I do not remember right now, but it was 1.7 seconds left. They win the draw, and Bordelot won it clean. And then, Beecher, he won it clean right over. And, they sent it right over, and Keaton Pearson ended up scoring, but it was waved off, no goal. It was one of the plays where they pretty much had everybody stacked the middle. They had the other defenseman cut. York was in the middle, so pretty much just like a pass right over, shot. It wasn't a one-time or anything, but they ended up calling it no goal. And then the shots after that period were 14-10 Notre Dame. In that period, 14-10 Notre Dame. They were 18-7 Notre Dame after the period. To start the third, Notre Dame, they called a timeout early. Michigan had some pretty established pressure. They had a lot of chances. Notre Dame ended up calling a timeout. York had some really nice solid D here on a 2-on-1. No goal or shot. He pretty much laid down. It was also a very nice back check from the Michigan forward to break up the play as well. Forced a turnover, started a breakout. Notre Dame, it was pretty much Notre Dame's game to lose with around 9 minutes left. I mean, they were literally dominating for majority of that period. And it wasn't as much the shots. I think the best thing that Michigan did for majority of that third period and for the game as well was if Notre Dame had a shot, they were letting Strassman make the save, and they were clearing the rebound. I mean, it was literally, he didn't have to worry about the second, third, and sometimes even fourth opportunities that you see in some games. That was one thing Michigan did well. I think that the team defense showed for both teams, and the goaltending was fabulous too, again, which probably is the reason why it was a 2-1 game, but York, his third shot on here, this is the one that he was credited. It actually deflected. It looked like it hit a little piece of the post or the goaltender. I could not necessarily tell. It deflected wide. They had a lot, and then this is around like the 9-minute mark, or I should say like 8.5 to like the 5-minute mark of the third. It was a lot of established pressure for Michigan. They couldn't really get much going, and then this is the weirdest goal. So it's a shot from the side wall, and it deflects, and it just goes up off the Michigan stick, right over Strassman's shoulder, right on the court, right on the side of the boards with 2:14 left. Michigan calls a timeout right after the goal. They ended up trying to pull the goalie. York ended up having a turnover because, again, this was one of the plays where they wanted to pass it. Nobody was moving. There was nobody ready for the pass. It was just guys coming up with speed. That's what happened. York came out with speed. Nothing really was happening. They pass it and ends up getting, it's a turnover, and they score on the empty net. 2-0 there. And the Michigan ends up getting one. Truss got his first goal of the season. And that was it. At 43 seconds left, he gets one there to make it 2-1, but that was it. I think York had a very good game, to be honest with you. I think defensively he's looked very good, as much offensively. I feel like the minutes that he's getting are really the harder minutes, but he's still getting offensive. He's getting a mix of both. But I think he had a really good game. But it sucks for Michigan because they kind of went into this weekend. They were 4-0. They look like maybe get some points out of this one. But Notre Dame comes in and still 6 points for them on tonight, and now they are 500. And now for the next game, as for Michigan, they now play December 2nd, which is Wednesday, against Penn State, and then December 3rd, which is Thursday, against Penn State again, and then December 8th and 9th versus Minnesota. So let me know what you guys thought below if you were to catch anything from this game. If you guys have any questions about York or just how the college season is or anything like that. Remember, guys, podcast, articles, those links from my channel. Also, if you did not check out the video or see anything I've posted recently, the Florida Podcast now has a merchandise store. You can check that out. The link is in my Instagram bio, and it is also on my YouTube bio as well. You can go check that out there. So, guys, remember, podcast, articles, merch link, that is in my bio. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next one, and goodbye.